Hello and welcome back to episode 9 of my mental illness story. My name's Tanner Hines. I am an audio engineer and stand-up comedian based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Last episode I talked about the success that I had with TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation. This is actually the last video in the series. We're at a different location because I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to put this episode out or not. So kind of doing it last minute. This is where I live. So this episode I want to talk about my sexuality. I identify as a bisexual man, and it's very difficult for me to talk about. It wasn't really my goal to sort of end the series this way. I wasn't trying to build towards this. It's just sort of the way it happened, and sort of an open secret, I guess, at this point. Open in that, I've told people about it and talk about it on stage. Secret in that not everybody knows, and that I've never made a public coming out proclamation. It was never really my bag, even though I'm doing something like this in this series. So it's very difficult for me to talk about it publicly, and I realize the negative connotations in talking about mental health and sexuality, given the fact that until the early 70s, any sexuality that wasn't heterosexual was considered a mental illness. Obviously we know better now, or we should know better now. That's not the case. Just like we should know that sexuality isn't a choice, even though people told me to my face that I was making a choice. The way it was explained to me is that anything that's not straight, gay, bi, even transgender, is inherently a much harder road for people to travel, and no one would deliberately choose to travel a harder road. It's not what humans do, so obviously at that point it's not a choice, it's just the way you are. So I'm not trying to bridge any gap. I'm just trying to talk about how my sexuality has affected my mental health throughout the years. I've always liked girls, but I knew there was something different about me. It wasn't until I was in high school, I was part of the basketball team my junior year, and I sort of got to see my teammates from a different perspective, for lack of a better word. That I realized that's what was the different part about me. Even then, it wasn't until a few years later. I was in college, probably about halfway through college, that I accepted this is who I am, and started telling people. And luckily for the most part, people were perceptive of that, and were accepting of who I am. Despite people accepting me doesn't necessarily mean it's been easy for me to deal with. It's been a great source of shame for me for a long time, in having to deal with something different, even different than just being gay or something like that. I think for the longest time, even today, I just wanted what a lot of my friends have now, which is a nice girl to settle down with, but that might not ever happen, or it might. I don't. I think that's the hard part about being bisexual. Is it feels like you can get attacked from every angle, so to speak. A lot of people ask me how does my attraction work? How does it go in phases? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, because I don't know myself, actually. It's just something you have to navigate. That's different than want to say normal because that's not right, but just, you know, something different that people, you know, a lot of people don't have to sort of deal with. But you know, I'm trying to find my stride. It's getting easier. I think I'm, you know, on the up with it in terms of accepting and you know, how to deal with it. You know, people talk about pride and you know, being proud of who they are. When it comes to the LGBT community, I'm not necessarily there yet, but it's what I'm working on. I think we're getting there. Progress is like anything else; it's slow sometimes. So, but I feel good about where I'm at and where I'm going. You know, what's ahead of me at this point. It's just been harder and slower than I would have liked it to have been, and what I thought I would have had in my life. Certainly at this point. But who knows what tomorrow will bring. And really, that's sort of all I wanted to talk about in this video. I think that pretty much wraps up the series. Thank you guys if you're still listening at this point. Appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I guess we've learned something. So I don't know. So be sure to like the video, thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my channel. I don't, in terms of what's next, I'm not really sure. I'll keep posting stand-up clips as I get them. So you can check back and watch those if you want. Again, thank you for being with me this whole time. It means a lot. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.